Tonight of all nights, Anne Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi, begins right now. Emurua Dikir MP Joanna Ngeno was today released on a 1 million shillings cash bail after spending 3 nights in police custody after he was charged with hate speech and incitement. Meanwhile, leaders across the country and the political divide have continued to condemn the perceived insightful utterances from the political leaders. Mwangi Maina begins our broadcast tonight.
While delivering her ruling, Nakuru Chief Magistrate Justice Elizabeth Usui said that there were no compelling reasons to continue holding MP Joanna Ngeno, as argued by the defense.
No previous records, as none has been presented before the court. He is a member of parliament and I do not find that he is a flight risk. The chances of interfering with the witnesses has been analyzed above and they are minimal. And therefore I find no compelling reasons to deny the accused person bond.
The MP was barred from making any insightful or insultful utterances, with the police given a go-ahead to arrest him in any case he does so. He has also been warned against meddling with the witnesses.
And he's hereby barred from making any utterances that may tend to incite violence, stir ethnic contempt, as well as infringe on other citizens' rights as enshrined under the Constitution of Kenya.
Meanwhile, Narok Senator Ledamo Lekina has castigated the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, saying the commissioners have failed in their mandate as the commission is not constituted under merit. Similar sentiments were echoed by Migori Senator Ochilo Ayako.
If NCIC itself is tribal, if all the investigating officers are from one tribe and all the majority people there are from one tribe, then how do you expect them to do their work? So really, I think it's about time that we just, instill on these values and principle of public service.
EIC is totally failing. Wame fail completely. Na unajua hiyo ni tume. Jukumu muhimu sana kwa serikali ya taifa ni kuunganisha wananchi.
Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka led a host of Ukambani leaders in condemning careless and insightful remarks from politicians.
Leaders, let us watch what we say. It means a lot to this country. A small thing can make this country go to the dogs. So I really want to appeal to ourselves as leaders that even before you open your mouth to say what you want to say, find out the impact of what you're saying.
And shame any person privileged to sit in a position of authority who opens his mouth to insult other leaders and worse still, to pay people to insult other leaders. That really is a no-no. We should not go there as a country. We must respect one another. Let us have all different and varied political positions.
People talk about drums of war being beaten. It starts from those little words. Those words which we utter without caring about the effect.
A section of members from Parliament drawn from Ukambani were launching a COVID-19 sensitization song in collaboration with the Kenya Films and Classification Board, KFCB. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Major General Mohammed BADI today took a secrecy oath to attend cabinet meetings. BADI was sworn during a cabinet meeting that was attended by all cabinet secretaries at State House meeting, a meeting that was chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Joash Onsare tells us more.
It's the first time since the cabinet secretaries are meeting after 14 days recess that ended on 28th August. All the cabinet secretaries met in the meeting chaired by President Kenyatta on Thursday. During the meeting, Nairobi Metropolitan Service Director General Mohamed Abdallah BADI took a secrecy oath to attend cabinet meetings. According to a letter from State House spokesperson Kanze Dena Mararo, the oath is a requirement for any person to be part of the cabinet meeting or participate in the conduct of cabinet business. Further, Major BADI will be allowed to attend all meetings of cabinet pursuant to Executive Order Number 3 of 2020. Mohamed BADI has been the Director General of Nairobi Metropolitan Service since the transfers of some functions from the county government of Nairobi to the national government. On Wednesday, Governor Mike Sonko criticized the NMS operations in the city. Cabinet applauded Kenya's healthcare workers for their commitment to duty during the pendency of the coronavirus pandemic. Other frontline staff, including national security officers, were also recognized by Cabinet for their sterling role in leading the nation's response to COVID-19. As a measure of our nation's recognition of and pride in our frontline workers, Cabinet also approved the comprehensive insurance cover for all frontline workers. The meeting was attended by the Deputy President William Ruto, who has been conducting events at his current office. Josh Onsare, TV47.
Thank you, Josh Onsare, for that report. Moving on, Deputy President William Ruto took issue again with the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai over political leaning assignments, asking the police boss to deal with the security matter in the country. And as our reporter Eli Logova now reports, the second in command slammed political competitors over what he termed as quote-unquote cheap politics after a section of youth caused chaos during his tour of KISII on Thursday.
With less than 2 years to the general elections, the 2022 succession politics is already gaining momentum as politicians continue to align themselves ready for the elections. Deputy President William Ruto, who has declared his interest in succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta, took his popularization campaigns to Gusii land in a bid to woo the region that has for long enjoyed ODM dominance. During Thursday's tour of KISII, Deputy President William Ruto accused police officers led by IG Hilary Mutyambai of being used by selfish politicians to settle their political scores against him. Ruto further asked public servants to stick to their professional code of conduct and shun politics.
Tunataka kila mtu aheshimiwe, afanye kazi mahali pake. Tunataka askari waendelee na kulinda usalama. Tunataka provincial administration wasimamie mambo ya usalama na utendakazi ya serikali. Wale wanasiasa wanataka kushindana, wawachane na police, wawachane na provincial administration, wakuje kiwanja, wakutane na mimi.
The second in command reiterated his stand on succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta come 2022, saying he is ripe for the position. Ruto says he is committed to competing with other leaders on issues, development and ideologies that would transform the nation.
Tuko pamoja? Na ndio mimi nauliza hivi, badala ya mambo mengi, badala ya mashindano, badala ya ukora mingi, Wakenya wengi hawana chakula.
Ruto's tour of KISII was, however, marred with the chaotic scenes following protests in KISII town after a section of youth blocked roads opposing his visit. DP Ruto asked leaders to shun petty politics of engaging youth in creating disharmony in the society.
Tumewaonyesha wale ambao wanataka kutumia rasilimali za county ama rasilimali za provincial administration vibaya, ati wananunua vijana wapigane, tuwaambie shame on you. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Yes, hizo pesa ambayo mnatoa, kwendeni patia mama mboga wako na shida kubwa waendelee na biashara. Ama pelegeni kwa bodaboda wako na shida.
DP Ruto's tour of KISII comes a few days after Interior CS Fred Matiang'i visited the region. Eli Logova, TV47.
From KISII, let's get to Taita Taveta, where ODM party leader Raila Odinga has urged Taita Taveta residents to support the Building Bridges initiative process so as to bring peace, cohesion and integration to the country. On his Thursday tour to Taita Taveta, Raila further urged coastal leaders to support the third generation revenue formula so as to benefit their counties. Odinga is in the coastal region to solidify his support days after Deputy President William Ruto toured the region. Raila also met religious leaders in Taita Taveta.
Basi amewasili hapa Waziri Mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Wakilishi wangapi? Naomba tuimbe pamoja.
BBI tumesema tunataka kuzidisha pesa ambayo inakuja mashinani, kubadilisha kutoka 15% ifike 35% na zaidi. Sasa wanapata kwa mfano mpango wa pesa wa mwaka jana wanapata bilioni 316, lakini budget yenyewe ni trilioni 3 na zingine, yani ni 10% pekee yake ambayo wanapata. Sasa tukizidisha hiyo mara 20, tunaongeza 25 juu yake, hivi ifike 35 kwenda juu, sio pesa itakuwa mingi zaidi. Alafu sasa tutatumia ile formula vizuri ya kugawa hiyo pesa. Sasa yule seneta wenu ndugu Maruma huyu amesimama imara. Yeye ni mwanachama halisi, nikiongea na yeye anasikia maneno. Alikuwa anataka kuwa chairman wa Public Accounts Committee. Nikamwambia waachie tu wakati huu, acha fulani achukue. Nakakubali, mimi nitasubiri.
Now, in recent years, we have seen a spike in high-profile corruption scandals involving close relatives and associates in what is fast becoming a worrying trend for the country. This even raising eyebrows within courtrooms, with public figures accused of corruption appearing to drag close relatives, among them parents, spouses, and children, into their graft mess. Our reporter David Mudoka looks at how corruption in the country is increasingly becoming a family affair.
When 4 members of one family in Nakuru were charged in connection to the 9 billion shillings National Youth Service scandal, the country stood in awe at how not 1, not 2, but 4 close relatives, among them a daughter, mother, a brother and a sister, colluded to siphon NYS 59 million shillings. Little did the nation know that a couple of years later, the Ngirita case was preparing the way for what would come later. In recent times, courts have seen an upsurge in corruption cases where close relatives form a fair share of the accused, a trend that is increasingly disturbing. On Tuesday, close members of Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki's family were among other co-accused, charged with deceptively siphoning 34.9 million shillings from the county accounts. A flowchart from EACC investigations showed how the county government of Tharaka Nithi contracted Generations Electronics Limited, a company owned by Governor Njuki, his wife Margaret Mugweru, and Njuki's business associate David Mbugua to import an incinerator. The county government then paid 34.9 million shillings to Westomax Investments Limited, a firm owned by Mugweru's brother Kenneth Mushuya and Caroline Wambui, who supplied the incinerator. The proceeds from the deal were later shared to, among others, close relatives of the governor. Gentech Supplies and Service was paid 200,000 shillings, whose directors are Freshi Njeri, wife to Njuki's close business associate David Mbugua, and Alan Gitonga, a nephew to the governor. A company owned by Njuki's son Brian Muthomi, GSOT Limited, was paid 2.1 million shillings in unexplained transactions. In yet another scandal that sacked almost an entire family, Migori Governor Okodho Bado was in August arraigned at the Milimani Law Courts alongside his 4 children, all accused of milking 73.4 million shillings from the county coffers in fraudulent procurement deals. Investigations by EACC detectives revealed that the governor had received the total sum of 73,474,376 shillings indirectly through his children. The money would be used to pay the children's school fees, upkeep, maintenance and medical bills in Australia, Scotland and United Kingdom, while Sam was also traced to have bought 2 Toyota Land Cruiser V8 vehicles. Just like Obado, former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu Babayao was arraigned in court alongside 2 members of his immediate family after 2 companies owned by Waititu, his wife Susan Ndungu and their daughter Monica Njeri, received 30.6 million shillings from Testimony Enterprise Limited, awarded a tender to construct roads between October 2018 and January 2019. How close relatives have been tied at the hip in undertaking suspected corrupt deals is now even raising eyebrows within courtrooms, while presiding over a preliminary hearing where Governor Njuki and 16 other co-accused denied all 16 counts of corruption leveled against them. Milimani Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti, however, noted that some family members might have been kept in the dark as the corrupt dealings drive right beneath their noses.
The trend Kenya is adopting, the trend we are seeing, is that persons who hold positions are getting their close families when they are committing crime. Of course, some of those members of the family may not know, but they are getting families to commit crime.
But the 2 sides of the same coin remain whether these offenses are either innocent mistakes or willful crimes committed by these family members. David Muthoka, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, David Muthoka, for that report. 17 minutes past 9 p.m. Time for us to take a short break. But as always, remember your voice on opinion matters. Keep talking to us. Send us a message on 22047. The hashtag to use is TV47 News. Quite a number of your feedback is already coming in. Henry Osembo says, watching TV47 from Ruben. Nicholas Kater says, tuned. Oscar Chagenywo says, following. Queen Sol says, watching. Talk to us. Send us a message on 22047. Time for us to take a short break. We still have a lot lined up for you. We'll be back with much more after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Thank you for staying with us here on the county's television. Now, as the world marked World Suicide Prevention Day, Kenya has been ranked 114 out of 175 in the list of countries with the highest suicide cases in the world. This is according to a report by the World Health Organization that has indicated that the number of suicide cases in the country rose by 59% between the years 2008 and 2017. Zainab Mohammed now looks at the numbers.
Marking the World Suicide Prevention Day at Madari Hospital on Thursday, Chief Administrative Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, has announced a report by the World Health Organization that ranks Kenya at position 114 among 175 countries with the highest suicide rate in the world.
Globally, over 800,000 people die due to suicide each year. It is the second leading cause of death for young people aged between 15 and 29 years. The World Population Review ranks Kenya at position 114 among 175 countries with the highest suicide rate. In addition, Kenya's suicide rate is at least 6.5 suicides per 100,000 people.
According to the report, the number of suicides reported in the country rose by 59% between the year 2008 and 2017.
In Kenya, the number of suicide cases have increased in the last several years. A report by the World Health Organization indicated that the number of suicides reported in the country rose by 58% between 2008 and 2017. There are 317 suicide cases reported every year.
The CAS further noted the significant increase in suicide cases during the COVID-19 pandemic, emphasizing the need of checking up on the mental wellness of loved ones during this pandemic.
In a crisis like COVID-19, most people will experience some degree of distress, such as feelings of anxiety, hopelessness, sadness, difficulty in sleeping, fatigue, irritability, or anger, and aches and pains. Public health approach is therefore needed to address the psychosocial and mental health consequences of COVID-19.
This is as the number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 35,603 cases after 143 more people tested positive for the virus in the last 24 hours. 490 people have recovered as 5 more people succumbed to the virus. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Elsewhere, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, has ordered the prosecution of senior Garissa County officials, including Governor Ali Korane, over the embezzlement of 233 million shillings that was issued by the World Bank as a grant. The funds, Haji says, were released by the World Bank under the Kenya Urban Support Program before being diverted between February and September 2019.
In a statement released on Thursday, the DPP said the investigations uncovered that the money, instead of being used for the construction of a market, recarpeting of CBD roads, putting up of pedestrian walkways and setting up of drainages, was diverted between February and September 2019. The statement further said diversions were facilitated by the 4 county officials who were the Finance Chief Officer Ibrahim Malo, Treasury Head Muhammad Abdullahi, Municipality CEC Abdi Shale, and Head of Accounting at the Municipal, Ahmed Aden. The investigations carried out by EACC concludes that Governor Korane abdicated his responsibilities, leading to the misappropriation of the grant funds. The 5 will be charged with the 5 counts, which includes conspiracy to commit an offense of economic crime, misappropriation of public funds, abuse of office, engaging in a project without prior planning, and willful failure to comply with the law. Other charges they will face include engaging in a project without prior planning, contrary to provisions in the Public Finance Management Act, and abuse of office. Korane will become the latest of a string of governors to be prosecuted over graft.
Now, the Senate County Public Accounts and Investments Committee has called on Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai to appear before the Oversight Committee for his failure to arrest and present Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria as instructed last week. The Murang'a County boss has not been audited for 3 financial years. Our Parliamentary Affairs reporter Elizabeth Mutuku reports.
Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria has yet defied the call by Senate, County Public Accounts and Investment Committee to appear before the Oversight Committee for accounting purposes for the 3 financial years, senators expressing their displeasure in the expenditures of the county's expenditure.
That he has also got the weight and the bearing of the plenary, so that everybody expresses an opinion on this matter. We cannot continue this way if we've got to get the devolution flourish. This is one of the negative elements of devolution.
Angry senators say tougher measures have to be taken upon the defiant Murang'a governor for accountability purposes. The committee now wants Inspector General Hilary Mutyambai to appear before it to shed light on why he didn't arrest and present Governor wa Iria.
The reason why we have the doctrine of separation of powers is so that each house can check each other, but not to stop any other house from operating. I'm also shocked and saddened that the letter was sent by Parliament to the Inspector General, Mr. Hilary Mutyambai, and he ignored the letter. He has not responded to the letter. So, Mr. Chairman, I will be asking that we also summon the Inspector General of Police to appear before this committee to be able to respond as to why he either ignored the letter or why he did not take action in terms of the letter.
Because he's a danger to public funds since he cannot account for it. He doesn't want to be accountable. He doesn't want to be oversighted. So when you look at Section 96 and Article 225, we should make a resolution as a committee that the National Treasury forthwith ceases for issuing funds or transfer of funds to county government of Murang'a until Governor Mwangi wa Iria appears before this committee and be able to answer audit queries and show the country that he has prudently used. Because it seems that the governor and the county executive are allergic to issues of accountability.
Auditor General officers have expressed their challenges in auditing Murang'a County, same challenges faced by EACC officers whenever they visit the county, calling upon the intervention of the Senate.
Because right now we are through with the planning for 2021, but we are worried on how we shall go to audit Murang'a. Unless probably this committee gives a guidance on amount task team, because we also need security in this situation. Thank you.
The audit environment on the ground has not been that cordial because sometimes if a team is on the ground and then you want explanation from one of the officers, a minister or CEO, chief officer, and you can't raise them on phone. You call their phones, they don't pick. It goes even for a week that they are not picking.
County Public Accounts and Investments Committee says Murang'a County via Governor wa Iria has not accounted for their monies for the financial years 2015-2016 and 2016-2017, so as 2017-2018, not forgetting 2018-2019, auditors expressing their dilemma on the coming years.
The trend of the reporting that is being seen in the books of accounts, and maybe they can give us better details than we've been able to observe and pick in your personal contact with the county executive.
The committee is expected to make a ruling tomorrow on the fate of Governor wa Iria. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has declined to sign into law the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill that sought to have retired members of Parliament paid a monthly pension of 100,000 shillings, saying the proposed pension payment will result to an annual cost implication of close to 444 million shillings. This comes a week after the National Assembly passed the bill targeting MPs who retired between 1984 and 2001.
Following its passage, I did present the bill for assent to His Excellency the President in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and our own standing orders. However, in exercise of the powers conferred under Article 115, Clause 1, Paragraph B of the Constitution, His Excellency the President, by way of a memorandum dated 7th of September 2020, has since referred the bill back to the National Assembly for reconsideration. Honourable members, in his memorandum, His Excellency the President has expressed reservations on Clause 2 of the bill, which sought to amend Section 8 of the Parliamentary Pensions Act, Cap 196, to provide for an entitlement for former members of Parliament who served between 1st of July 1984 and 1st of January 2001 to a monthly pension of 100,000 shillings. The proposed pension payment will result in an annual cost implication of about 444 million shillings. Added to this will be the almost certain demand for similar upward review of pension benefits by other retired state and public officers, which is within their rights to demand. The resultant ripple effect is unaffordable and fiscally unsustainable.
Keep talking to us. You are watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Time for us to take another short break. Your feedback is coming in. Sonny Nelson Craft says watching live from Bungoma. Suleiman Juma says watching TV47 from Eldoret. Keep talking to us. Time for us to take another short break. We'll be back with more after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Now, after months of investigations into the 63 billion shillings managed equipment service scheme, a report by the ad hoc committee has established numerous disparities in the procurement of the medical equipment for the counties. 3 former cabinet secretaries and 3 PSs are on the spot over the saga. Mumbi Chege has the details.
The report notes that the Ministry of Health disregarded major provisions as per the Constitution during the procurement of counties' medical equipment in the Managed Equipment Service project. The Ministry of Health undertook blanket allocation of equipment across counties, leading to duplication of equipment. According to the report, county governments were not consulted during the carrying out of the needs assessment exercise in the contravention of Article 6 of the Constitution. The report noted disparities in the status of implementation of the Managed Equipment Service project across counties, which questioned the level of political goodwill. The equipment did not meet specific county needs due to lack of consultative assessment. The Ministry of Health procured specialized equipment for county governments in the absence of an explicit written agreement between the two levels of government. Despite the counties not having received uniform equipment, a standard rate of 95 million shillings, then 200 million shillings was allocated to all 47 counties. Furthermore, when the contract was varied to add 21 beneficiary hospitals, the added costs were equally distributed to all the 47 counties. While some counties exceeded the infrastructure requirements, others had only attained 1% of the infrastructure required. Despite finding out that more than 10 counties did not have even a single specialist, the Ministry of Health went ahead to roll out the MES project. Lack of water, electricity, and ongoing construction also rendered most of the equipment non-operative in some hospitals. According to the report submitted by the Controller of Budget before the committee, the national government budget for leasing of the medical equipments to county governments was 34.7 billion shillings in total, while the allocation stood at 29.1 billion shillings. The share for all the 47 counties amounting to 619.1 billion shillings per county for the financial years 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2019-2020. The report observed 4.5 billion shillings was allocated for MES project for financial years 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018 respectively, rising to 9.4 billion shillings in 2018-2019 financial year, and then marginally dropping to 6.2 billion shillings in 2019-2020 financial year. The total expenditure for the Managed Equipment Service totaling to 25.9 billion shillings. The Senate Ad Hoc Committee now recommending the Office of the Auditor General to undertake an audit, calling on the EACC to investigate the officials linked to the scandal. In an investigation conducted over 9 months by the Senate Ad Hoc Committee, chaired by Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo, 3 former cabinet secretaries in the Ministry of Health and public secretaries have been named for being responsible for the omissions and commissions which might have costed Kenyans billions of money. In its report, the committee has named the then cabinet secretaries James Macharia, who is currently the CS Transport and Infrastructure, Cicely Kariuki, who is the CS Water and Sanitation, and Dr. Cleophas Mailu, who is permanent representative to the UN Geneva. The 3 served as cabinet secretaries in the Ministry of Health. Others named are principal secretaries Dr. Nicholas Muraguri, Professor Fred Segor, Julius Korir, and former PS Khadija Kasechun as those who were responsible for acts of omission and commission in the MES deal. Mumbi Chege, TV47.
Thank you, Mumbi Chege, for that report. To the seaside city of Mombasa now. And the coastal ferry channel has for years been crucial in the transportation of goods to and from Likoni. And with the ongoing construction, locals are hopeful for an improved connectivity. Our reporter Mariam reports from Mombasa.
The Likoni ferry channel has for years been pivotal for the crossing of not only pedestrians but also heavy luggage, facilitating the transportation of goods to and from Likoni. However, due to lack of proper mechanisms for the crucial service, it has been on the spot from time to time over improper safety measures for the pedestrians. Owing to the increasing number of safety irregularities at the crossing, the government proposed the construction of the Likoni Ferries pedestrian footbridge that will see pedestrians commute to and from the island safely.
We have 3 sections. We have this embankment,
It will not be on the side of the island.
So, what should the public expect from the footbridge?
The public is expected to have a facility that will assist them cross the ocean channel seamlessly, and they will be able to, without much congestion that is existing today with the LIKONI ferry. This project is expected to be completed in January 2021. Yeah, the project has started. We are currently 3 months after the contract was signed.
Itakuwa imetuadhirisha yani mahali pakubwa, alafu kulingana na penye bridge itaanzia ni kama posta, alafu inaanguka wapi huko Likoni, inaanguka kama Mount Sinai. Hapo hivyo itakuwa imenidhuru hata pia mimi, kwa sababu siwezi chukua mzigo na nikatoa kama posta mpaka Mount Sinai, na ama tu yani itakuwa imeharibia watu watu wengi kazi, kwa sababu hata tuktuk hawezi lipa kutoka posta mpaka avuke kule.
Yanafere na watu mala mambo mengi, ajali ndogo hiyo itapunguza.
Sisi wabangaizaji wa hapa na sisi watu wabeba, watu wa kubeba. Sasa pakisema kwa daraja tutakula nini, na ambapo tuko watu zaidi ya 100 tunaokula kwa kupitia hiyo feri. Na hatuwezi kula mpaka tubebe.
All the people will be having maybe businesses on that side of ferry if they can actually get some space, because we have space on the other side. We're also planning to have some to get some few eateries at the side where when they are waiting to cross, maybe they can have something. So maybe there's also an opportunity for the young people to take their business. Yes.
As you can see, the construction of the LIKONI ferry channel for the pedestrians has already begun and is projected to be completed by 2021 in January. However, the locals are still worried about the businesses that might close and job opportunities that might be robbed by the completion of this bridge. Reporting for TV47 from Mombasa County, I am Mariam Wacharo.
Thank you, Mariam, for that report from Mombasa. But before we move from Mombasa, Daniel Ndichu says he's watching from Nyali Golf View, Mombasa. Thank you, Daniel, for that feedback. And because we are the county's television, let's move from Mombasa to TRANS-NZOIA, where nurses and lab technologists attending to COVID-19 patients in Mount Elgon Hospital Isolation Center in TRANS-NZOIA County commenced a strike, citing grounds of improper work environment and unfair labor practice. Boniface Baraza has the report.
According to Edward Cherot, the chairman of Kenya National Union of Nurses TRANS-NZOIA branch, all services in this facility have been suspended until the grievances will be addressed.
All the services in this isolation center shall remain paralyzed until when the union is able to agree that all the issues that have been affecting our members have been amicably resolved.
Tunataka muache kazi. Mimi niko tayari kuenda kwa niaba ya laboratory officers na hata nurses na clinical officers na wote jela. Ni heri hata ukae jela utakula kuliko kukaa Mount Elgon Isolation Center ambapo hakuna chakula.
The health workers say the employer has given them a day fare, which has greatly affected service delivery in this isolation facility.
We are saying our members have suffered gross abuse. Even the patients, the critical patients we take care of here, do not get food. They have brought food by their relatives from home, and this is called a county isolation center that is coordinated by a county team. Our workers who work here, unfortunately, are exposed.
Human rights activists in this county have also faulted the county administration for ignoring the frontline workers who sacrificed their lives during this period of coronavirus pandemic.
Hata wanajeshi ambao wanaenda kule Somali na kwingineko wanapewa motivation. Hapa wanaenda kutrainiwa chini ya miti na hakuna kitu wanapatiwa. Mtu akiongea kwamba utakufuta, kwamba ukifanya hivi utademote, utapikwa transfer. Hiyo tumefika wapi? Mwisho. Hatuwezi kupali watu kufa hapa na kuhangaishwa kwa sababu ya watu wachache.
Tumeongea kwa county government kupitia gavana kwa muda wote, lakini hajaweza kushughulika. Hatuwezi kuweka wafanyikazi katika maabara bila vifaa vinavyostahilika.
Trans-NZOIA County joins the list of counties whose health workers are on strike because of what county's leadership term as an effect of revenue sharing standoff in the Senate. Unfas Barasa, TV47, Trans-NZOIA County.
Moving on, the Ministry of Education has refuted claims of plans by the government to scale down funding of university students undergoing regular degree programs. Our reporter Lynette Githua has the details.
Education Chief Administrative Secretary Zach Kinuthia has refuted claims that there are plans by the government to reduce funding of varsity students undertaking regular degree programs. Speaking during a tour at Tetu Vocational Training College, Kinuthia said that contrary to media reports, the ministry is yet to develop such a policy.
It is fundamentally clear, minus every doubt, that when you hear there is a proposal, it is simply a proposal. The only thing that the government implements is in an instrument called policy. We don't have such a policy now. Such a policy does not exist in the Ministry of Education, State Department of University and Research Development.
He disclosed on concentrating on funding courses such as engineering and medicine and urged students to join vocational training colleges offering pertinent courses.
I want to tell the young people, the time has come for them to take advantage of the government-provided infrastructure, capitation, resources, and goodwill to acquire technical skills at a highly subsidized price across the country, which was not previous in the former regimes.
Lynette Githua, TV47.
So some international news, and dangerously rising waters of River Nile will depend on interventions that transform urban-rural linkages. Our reporter Diana Iriza reports from Rwanda.
The report shows that growth of cities in Africa shapes the agricultural environment and agribusiness by influencing patterns of agricultural production and bringing about the rapid expansion of food processing and distribution plants.
It is therefore important that we work together to create resilient food systems that will enable us to absorb shocks and bounce back better. We can do that. As Africa, we feel so strongly about this. KISII and the Malabo declarations are testimony to our commitment to agriculture, because we know that agriculture is indeed the surest path to inclusive economic growth.
According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, 61% of the world population will be living in urban areas by the year 2025. FAO further states that more than half of sub-Saharan Africa SSA population could be living in urban areas by 2015, posing huge challenges for poor towns and cities which already face challenges such as poverty and inequalities.
This year's forum does two things. Besides overcoming COVID or being here despite COVID, this year's forum focuses on feeding African cities. Because we do recognize the opportunity that African cities present. We as a continent are the fastest urbanizing continent, which is huge, but we do also recognize that there are challenges why we don't take advantage of that market. Many of those are lack of what experts call wholesale markets, or even when you go to the West, what you see as supermarkets, grocery stores and all that. Lack of those actually means that farmers don't have predictability of markets.
The AGRF summit brought together over 2,000 delegates from governments, the civil society, the private sector, research community and development partners. It was held under the theme Feed the Cities, Grow the Continent, leveraging urban food markets to achieve sustainable food systems in Africa. Diana Iriza, Kigali, Rwanda. The report shows that
Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Let's get to the world of sports now. And Magic with former street children who reside at Sekata Children's Home in Bungoma County. The hotly contested match was hosted at Bungoma Airstrip in Bungoma Town. Mike Agwongo reports.
The youth football prowess seems to have grown to an extent of attracting the attention of NZOIA FC, which offered to train 3 players a few weeks ago, as the team's coach Baraza Mahanu explains.
Kwa hii timu yangu pia nina vijana wawili watatu wameanza kutrain pale NZOIA FC. We had some little friendlies, you see, and the captain Mwaf and some of the officials, they came to me and talked to me about he's called Joseph Omumse. And the other guy of my other junior team anaitwa Euro, tunamuita Saimo. They're training at NZOIA. That's a good improvement. At least somebody is saying we are doing something positive. You see, for a caliber of that club, kuona mtoto kutoka kwa hii team yenye sisi tumeanza chekechea huku, unajua kuna kitu inafanyika positive.
His assistant Geoffrey Wanjala says he started coaching the teenagers at tender ages, and due to their commitment, he says they are destined for greatness.
Tulianza na vijana kitambo sana, kuanzia chini chekechea pale, tumekuja nao, tumefika mahali penye tumefika hapo. Natamani hata nini, kuna timu nitaka na scout, at least wakuja scout vijana juu talent yenye ika kwa hii team ni kubwa sana, sababu kuna vijana wenye nataka hata wasicheze na hapa, wacheze timu za nje. Ndio kwa mfano hata wacheze NZOIA, wacheze GOR, wacheze ni wadogo lakini wako na akili.
The teenagers caregiver Pastor Joseph Mukolwe says he takes pride in the opportunity to host the tournament, which he says is of great importance for the boys, who most of the time are neglected by the society. However, his greatness hurdle, he says, is the society's perception about street children.
Na tunaandaa mchuano kama huu ili upate kusaidia wa vijana, kwa sababu kila wakati hawa vijana wa mtaani huwa wanafeel ya kwamba they are rejected in the society, in the community. Na tunapoandaa mchezo kama hii, inawa encourage, inawafanya pia wanafeel ya kwamba they are human beings, they are acceptable in the community, and it also encourages them. It also makes them to be physically fit. Kila mtoto ama kila mwanadamu kuna kipawa ambayo Mungu ameweka ndani yao, na wanahitaji kusaidiwa ili wapate kugundua vipawa vyao na wapate kuvitumia. Na kipawa ni kitu cha maana sana, kinaweza saidia mtu siku zijazo, kinaweza lisha mtu siku zijazo.
Reporting for TV47 from Bungoma County, I'm Mike Kagwango.
Moving on, Harambee Stars captain a deadly striker, one will refer to him. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's edition of TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi, on behalf of the entire team that made this production possible. Tonight of all nights, bye for now, but enjoy the rest of our programs.